Listen, man, I promised you a great show for today, and that is exactly what it is going to be. Remember, you can be part of the show on our social media. We are at Mpumakapa TV on Twitter, Facebook, and on TikTok, so do make sure that you do follow us. Joining me in studio today is one of the most loved content creators, slash, as I like to call him, but I don't know how he feels about it, influencer, who is loved all across social media because of his content that is filled with so much love, so much encouragement, and so much good music. Igama lakhe nguThabo Ndim Umtika Mamase. Unjani?
Right now.
Alright, Namakondo.
Yeah.
I want us to get straight into it, right? Indaba yakho of content creation, right? Started in 2022.
Yeah.
Right? Why?
I had time. I had time. It didn't actually start 2022. I've always been a bit of a writer. I'm a person who speaks a lot. I'm introverted, you know, but I talk a lot, man. And it's years in the making, you know, where someone actually used to say, hey, man, you should actually do something about the many thoughts that you've got, you understand, and the things that you like to talk about, the conversations that you like to keep. So when 2022 came about, I found myself with a lot of time and a smartphone, you know, and yeah, one day I just decided to take my conversations to social media, and it blew up from there.
Did you anticipate the blow up,
No.
though? Because this is what usually people just create content and they send it out there, and then whatever happens, happens. Did you anticipate it?
It's a high. One thing I can tell you, it's a high. You know, when my first video hit 100,000 views, you know, I got excited. And having so many, you know, thoughts that are going on in my mind, and all these conversations that I've had with a lot of people coming up, you know, building up to 2022. I never thought in Yogbana it would be this big, you understand, in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where every day uvuka or tuke, but then you are gracious in it.
Yeah.
You don't want to come across as umdu or overwhelmed, you know. So I didn't anticipate this much growth, but it's been a great experience, man.
I love that your content is not, like, you know how people sit and they sketch something, right? Your content is very you. Your content is very live. Your content is very soft, and it's very sweet, and it's about love and music and good conversation. Yeah. There is something that I want to ask you.
Sure.
Because with that, now you are dubbed Dr. Love.
Yeah.
Right? How do you feel about that title?
So even this busy, I'm not Dr. Love. You know, I feel like it's a huge responsibility, man.
Yeah.
Firstly, and chatana. Imagine having married couple or married people come up to you and say, listen, in my marriage, this is the problem that I'm facing. You know, can you advise on anything? And I'm like, hey, but then Tina Sikulamos, we are raised to respect Abanda Bachatile.
True.
You know, there are certain conversations that you cannot have with Abanda Bachatile, or you cannot address Abanda Bachatile in a particular way, you understand? So it's one of those things where you know, but because and I created all of this, you understand? So now I need to somehow navigate through that, you know?
I get it. Because my thing was, you being dubbed Dr. Love, or people from your content calling you Dr. Love, I was thinking about it, that, you know, love for you, like, what does love for you mean in that context, or in the context of, you know, the content that you create? I think that's why I wanted to ask if you accept that name and what it means to you.
You never know what impact you have on the next person. You know, you never know. In many of ubombako, you know, many things that you do ebominbako, you don't know how the next person is going to receive you. You understand? So when you might be doing something just kuba and then someone is watching you. You understand? Someone is listening. And then that person finds something. You understand? No, but then I get something from you, you know, just doing J. You know? So it's one of those things where each and every day I need to learn to accept it. You know.
And with that acceptance, I think it also opens up other people to, you know, come into your space and be part of your family that you have created on social media, right? The growth has been so amazing to watch, you know, amassing over like almost 400,000 followers. That is a lot of followers.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, man.
How do you deal with, because I know sometimes there's influx of comments and then you want to get to everyone because you want everyone to feel like they are part of, you know, how do you feel about that? Like, I'm sure it gets overwhelming sometimes.
It does. It does. But then, now who, whenever I deny a chance, you know, I'll always tell my people, you know, look, if I can get to you, I will. But please understand, in Yobana, there's a lot of you and there's only one of me.
True.
You know, and it's abantu bafani, you know. Sometimes on a bad day, but because I need to understand and accept the fact that I put myself out there.
Yeah.
You know, so client when reaching out, I expectanga in Yobana no, I'm actually off. You know?
Expect from the videos.
So yeah, man. It's a learning experience, Nagum.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, each day, I take it each day as it comes.
And I'm sure it's a beautiful experience each day.
No, it is.
You know, especially with the growth and also with learning things about you in the conversation that you have with the people on social media, right? There's one that I want to know, and I think everybody at home wants to know, is since Ungu Dr. Love, right? Is there love in your life?
The Bible says you cannot speak of love if you do not possess it, if you do not have love. I think it's 1 Corinthians 13.
Praise Jesus.
Yes. So yeah, ukhona la sis.
Okay.
Khona la sis.
Okay. I guess all I can say is, Ndase, you are very lucky. Hey! Unelaka. Because like when I watched your videos, like you speak so calmly and so kindly. And I think that is one thing that, you know, a lot of people are looking for when they go into a relationship, to be with someone that is kind, you know, that is like, and that understands themselves first enough to understand the partner that they are with.
The next person,
and I think that is just amazing. That is one of the things that I took from, you know, watching your videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Tixo, ndicela apho benziwa khona uphinde vele umanufacturishe uthathe pha
cloth
yayiva makasike pha mntu asekhaya athunge adibanise because it's just beautiful.
It boils down to a calming environment. You know, I was raised, man, in a beautiful household. My mom and my dad were never married, so ndikhulele between the two households. And man, it's such a warm and welcoming environment. So imagine if I was hostile, you know, imagine if I wanted to talk about emotions, you know, but then I'm giving you a hostile sort of vibe. So I was a bit comfortable in talking to me.
No one would
ever. So that's why, man, it's the way that I was brought up.
This is Hashtag Trending with Andilelanga right here on Bumakapa TV channel 260. If you've just joined us in studio, I still have Ndim Umtika. And we're going to continue with the conversation that we were having right before we went to the ad break. But before we get into that, I just want to say cheers.
Yeah.
With our drink for the day. And it's whiskey on the rocks. Ooh. I felt that. As we continue with our conversation, right? One of the things that I love to do is to play a game, right? And the game that we're going to play today is Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
And my thing is, right, this part of the show, you know, with the drink, it's just for us to relax, you know, and just, you know, have a conversation. And the first Never Have I Ever is because you're... Oh, okay, yeah?
So what do I do?
Well, I'm going to ask the questions, and then you get to answer.
Oh, okay.
And then I will also answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But I feel like my answers are not important. Nobody wants to know my answers. Everybody wants to know your answers to the questions, you know. But I will also answer because we in this together.
Can I plead the fifth?
If you do plead the fifth, then you're going to have to take a sip.
Okay, no.
We're going to add that to the rules. Okay, since you're a content creator, I think this one is very befitting.
Yeah.
Never have I ever hooked up with someone from social media.
I have.
Oh, I love that.
I have.
I love that. And I love the fact that you didn't even like take a second to think about whether should I say it or should I not.
No, I have.
And I feel like I would too. For most people that are on social media.
I mean, hooking up with someone doesn't necessarily mean there's anything that goes beyond. You know? If someone says, "Hey, let's do lunch, let's do," you know, and the free, you know, why not?
Oh, so that's the hookup you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, well, I was asking about the other hookup, but let's move right along. Never have I ever been in the back of a police van. For whatever reason. Because in the second
that's Yele police station.
Okay.
So no, never.
Because I was gonna say, was Yela a police in the Panjani in the back of the police van?
No, I've never.
Oh, okay. Go kuyana sasilwe la inkululeko. Yolucha, 1976.
76.
I was there.
Okay. Present.
Amandla. And then the last one is, never have I ever run a red light.
I have. Multiple times.
I mean, when there are no cars on the road,
what to do?
Waiting for
what to do at 12 midnight?
Like silindele bani.
You understand?
Especially ngela xesha, because izinto ezileqwayo ngela xesha. Mhlambi yabona umama uthi uzawulala ngoku if awufiki in the next 10 minutes.
Exactly.
So you have to run.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to ask you this, right? Within this conversation, if you had to describe the type of content that you do and who you do it for, who would you say you're doing it for?
To describe it, it's chilled vibes, man. It's us having conversations about things that Silulucha don't really want to talk about. We've got this thing where you think you've got it all figured out. You know, we've got this thing where when it comes to relationships, we're going to want to know it's a drag.
Yeah.
But then we are going through the motions. You know, you've been hurt. You've hurt people.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, man, to describe it, it's one of those things where we are just being truthful to ourselves and speaking our own truth. You know,
which is very important. Which is very, very important. Now, your journey into content creation has led into you being, you know, interviewed by different journalists and in different shows, right? Including the show that you are on now.
Yes.
Because you have an on-running feature with True FM and Umhlabo Wenene FM. I wanted to talk about that because I was in your live, right, whilst doing the show, and it was a great experience. Like the banter in the show, it was just amazing. How did that come about?
I love music, one.
Yeah.
I love music, and obviously the conversations that I keep is something that I feel like the producer of the show saw and was like, okay, no, this is something that we could definitely feature onto, you know, my shows. With the Umhlobo Enene gig as well, it's the music mostly. It's the music, man, because I love soul and R&B. If you notice in many of my videos, I'd be playing a song in the backtrack, you know.
Baba ndiyawuthanda umzimba wakho. From the time we first met, where I could just wrap my arms around your waist, being at ndikushe ibhola yombhoxo to growing a bit older and watching you struggle to put your clothes on. Fanini, I love the dimples on your buttocks. Kuba ngathi wenza ngabomu when you walk around the house with no bottoms on. Kuba kaloku usazi nje ukubana ndiyazithanda izixhoxho. Whether umde or you should base in a shore, you are light skinned or darker than the berry. Was this land or is two fools are funny to me? You matter all 4 seasons of the year, no matter what the weather. In fact, Apple Koya, I hope now is close
So that's how it came about, man. And it's been great so far. It's been a journey, man.
If you had to say one show that oikumbulayo, like even maybe it was your first show or somewhere in between, La Show Tomba, today on the show, I had the best time of my life. Which one would it be?
There's so many.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to pick an individual show. One day, okay, this Sunday or this Wednesday, I had the most fun. Because the thing is, you never know what's going to happen on the show. You never know who's going to call in, who's going to interact. And when they play my music, when they play my music, if ever I'm given a chance, go to okay, Mamela, man, this week do you want to, you know, suggest Ingoma that we're going to play on the show? I've got a story to tell with a lot of songs that I listen to. So obviously, if they ever play a particular song and I love that song, you know, it's going to be a great show for me because I've always got something to say with regards to Langwa Male or in relation to the song. You know?
And I love the fact that, you know, when it comes to music, you're a good connoisseur of good music.
Yes.
And your music taste is amazing.
Yeah,
I
no,
must
thank you.
admit. It is amazing.
Thank you.
But where did your love for music come from?
Home. Home. My stepfather played a lot of jazz, a lot of R&B. Sasna cassette. He had like briefcases, E3. As a cassette.
Wow.
As a dala.
Yeah.
You know, full of cassettes. So that's where it all started, man. And being an introvert, I was never one to speak out a lot, you know. But with music, it was easy for me to express myself. Because if I wanted to tell you, I was
gonna
you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm a lyrics, you know. So it's one of those things, and yeah.
It's giving Chama Boy. It's giving Reese.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask that, you know, because if then that much music was, you know, within your reach and then that means you had a lot of conversations through music.
Exactly. Yes. I tried the poetry. I wrote a poem for someone when I was in, I think, grade 8, standard 6. And the response was, I can't mail Shakespeare. So I thought, okay, no, man, poet, you know, let me focus on the music. And it's worked in my favor.
Sana, you know what, we had distressed because why?
She's one of my biggest fans, though.
Oh, I love that, man. I love that. Listen, there is still so much conversation to be had right here on the show. Head over to our social media at Bumakapa TV and let us know where you're watching from. Listen, before, we roll the cameras, I said I was going to ask Utamo something, and then he was like, yo. No, don't worry. I will not ask you.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, no. Especially on television. No, I've already asked you off air. Yeah. Okay, so just to like get now into the bigger picture, right? With your content, what do you want to achieve?
Well, at first it wasn't a thing, you know, where I had a set goal, or one I wanted to achieve a certain thing, you know. It's basically where I just want everyone to be free, you know, to speak about you know, that, you know, ezukyanga phakathi, you know, because I feel like being able to speak your own truth, you know, and being able to find yourself in situations where you are able to speak, because I find like we have friends that we cannot talk to. True. You know, we are in environments where we feel suppressed. But because we want to fit in, but then this is not me. You know, so I think if ever I'm trying to be naughty, what I'm trying to do, I just want everyone to find themselves in a safe space in terms of talking about the things that we go through as abandabacha, as youth and ala, you know, because we're called youth. So yeah, I'm just basically creating a safe space, man, for everyone to just come in and talk about whatever it is that there is Bahlupai.
Yeah,
you know.
I love that you speak about creating a safe space because also recently you've partnered up with an HIV campaign.
Yes.
How did that come about, and what is your involvement in it?
Basically, it's reigniting the conversation, you know, around HIV and STIs, STDs. You know, condom use, reintroducing the conversation around PrEP and teaching people about what PrEP is and stuff like that. It's funny, man, because I've never really been vocal about what I do behind the scenes. But then because of my social media reach, there's many people that have come to me and said, hey, Tabo, listen, I found myself defaulting to ARVs. You know, can you help me? Because I need help. Because they're saving in mana, they're cooler and stuff. And I've helped a couple of people, and how the universe works, man, is amazing. You know? And then the DM came, where I was introduced to Ilandoga, the campaign, and I was like, I'm keen on jumping at it.
Let's do it.
You know, because it's another conversation that I feel in Uganda as youth and youth and we should be talking about these things, man, you know, because it affects either directly or indirectly. You know? That's
so true. And I think, you know, because now on social media we're having the conversation of brands pairing content creators with the right campaigns,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I really do think that you are the perfect person for, for this collaboration, because already your platform speaks to so many topics, right? So this is also like a part of you in continuation with the conversation.
Yes, it is.
Which I think it is just beautiful. So kudos to them approaching you, and thank you so much for accepting it.
No, thank you.
Because really, 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 which is another question that I need to ask you, because you're already here and you're within the space, right? In your content creation or in your space or in your career, right, in social media, are there brands that you wouldn't work with, or are there brands that you would like to work with, but because there's people that work with brands, but when you look at their social media or their content, you're like,
how did it come about?
It's not, a person has never posted anything about fashion, and then chiki they are
born representing a particular brand or retail store.
Look, for you?
Because of the content that I create, I remember telling someone in the one, I would love to sort of make something that would reach out if you like a condom manufacturer, or the Department of Health, and the universe works in funny ways, in weird, wonderful ways. Me wanting or hoping to maybe collaborate with the Department of Health, it came about, well, it's not official, but it came about the campaign. Something that has to do with your health, it has to do with sexual safety and awareness and all of those things. So when it comes to brands, man, I think I'm ready for whatever comes my way.
And I think every brand manager that is watching, every campaign manager that is watching, you need to do the right thing. Because it has been proven, if you want receipts, go on his social media. Where can we find you on social media?
It's ndim_umtika on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. I'm still new on X. I don't know.
Because I was going to say, what is X now? I forgot that Twitter is now X.
But other than that, Utabo Mamase, that's where you'll find me.
Before I let you go, right, there is someone that is watching right now, because you knew this was coming. You knew this was coming.
I had a feeling.
There's someone that is watching, and I'm just going to give you leeway with this, right? There's someone that is watching and wants to hear, a word from you, or wants to hear an advice from you about anything that you want to advise about, or any last words from you. And I want you to look into that camera and speak to that person.
It's simple. Choosing yourself is not being selfish. Why stay in a situation that doesn't serve you, that no longer serves you that you want to be served? So never be afraid to say, look, this is it, I'm done. Because look, at the end of the day, man, you don't want to stay in that way anyway, you're not appreciated. Kubantu who come at you that come at you wanting to be a part of your life sincerely, but because you've stayed or overstayed your welcome in a toxic environment, in a toxic situation, you would never be able to see.
That's beautiful.
Well,
almost. Almost. Before I let you go, what's next for Ndim Umtika?
No, man, we're pushing content. We're out there, we're having these conversations, we're having these uncomfortable conversations, we're having these conversations that many deem taboo to talk about, especially on social media and on public platforms. And hopefully from there, man, a lot more can come.
Wow. Listen, I will be seated on your social media, because I too want to see where this journey goes to. Listen, from the team, thank you so much for joining us. And I think I want to cheers to that, and a sip. And just like that, Mabetunana, this is how we close today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to hit us up on social media. I am at Andile_Langa on Twitter and all across social media. Until next time, good night, God bless. Bye.